So what exactly is a verb? Verb is the main part of the sentence. Verb tells us two things about the subject: an action or activity performed by the subject, or a state of being of the subject. In other words, state or situation of the subject. Let me give you some examples of action verbs. What is this boy doing in this image? He is running, right? So, run is an action verb. What is this batsman doing? He is playing. So, play is an action verb. Now let's look at the state of being type of verbs, or also called as stative verbs. They define the state of subject. This is an image of a boy. We say Ram is a boy. So, is here is a state verb, as it defines the state whether he is a boy or girl. In this image, the boy feels very tired. So, feels here is a stative verb, as it defines the state of boy. Let's look into some sentence examples of them. First, let's see for action verbs. First, children reads book regularly. Here, what is the action performed by children? It is reading. So, read is an action verb. Second, Superman is flying in the sky. Here, what is the action performed by Superman? It is flying. So, flying is an action verb. Third, I ride bicycle regularly. Here, what is the action that I perform with cycle? It is riding. So, ride is an action verb. Now, let's look into the state verbs. They define the state or situation of subjects. First, she feels happy today. Here, what is the state of girl? It's feeling happy. So, feels is a state verb. Second, I am a boy. Here, how we define whether he is a boy or not? Using am as a state verb. Third, he is a policeman. Here, the state of that person is that he is a police. So, is used as a state verb here. So, remember, verbs tell about the action or state of subject. Now, verbs are mainly divided into two parts: main verbs and auxiliary verbs or helping verbs. So, what are main verbs? Main verbs are the words that actually shows the action or activity of subject. They can stand alone without the help of any other verbs. Examples of them are read, sleep, eat, run. All these words can exist independently and provide complete meaning to the sentence. Let me give you some sentence examples of them. Sun shines. Here, what is the activity of sun? It is shining. So, shines is a main verb here. Bus stops. Here, what is the action bus performs? It is to stop. So, stops is a main verb here. Car runs. Here, what is the activity or action performed by the car? It is running. So, run is a main verb here. Now, let's look into auxiliary verbs or helping verbs. They give more meaning to the main verb. They cannot stand alone, which means they require main verb for their existence. Examples of them are is, has, do, did. These are referred to as main helping verbs, and will, shall, may, can, could, might, must. These are called modal auxiliary verbs. Let me give you sentence examples to make you clear about them. For the first example, we are using helping verb may. Look at this sentence, bus may. Can you understand what this sentence is saying about bus? Bus may what? Now look at the complete sentence. Bus may stop. Here we are telling that bus may stop. That is, we are not sure whether it will stop or not, but it is giving complete meaning to the sentence. So, helping verb is may here and main verb is stop. Let's look into the second example. Will. Now look at this sentence. Sita will. Does this statement convey any meaning about the subject Sita? No, it doesn't. Now look at the complete sentence. Sita will come. Here we have used come, which is the main verb, with will as a helping verb. Now let's look into the last example, must. Now look at this sentence, they must. Here the verb must is of no meaning to the sentence if it is not followed by any main verb. Now look at this sentence. They must eat. Now we have a meaningful sentence conveying that they must eat the food. Here must is a helping verb and eat is a main verb. Verbs has two unique qualities that no other parts of speech has. I repeat, verb has two unique qualities that no other parts of speech has. The very first quality the verb has is they change depending on the subject, and the second quality the verb has is they change depending on the time of speech. Let's look into the first quality verbs has. Verbs change depending on the subject. What do I mean by that? Let me give you an example to make it clear. I am tall. Here the subject is I, which is the first person. Tall is an adjective and am is a verb. Now look at the second example where the subject is second person. You are tall. Here, while referring to the second person, we used are as a verb, but tall remains the same. Now look at the third example where the subject is third person. She is tall. Here, while referring to the third person, we used is as a verb, but here also tall remains the same. So from this example, you can see am becomes are and are becomes is by going from first person to second person to third person. So we can conclude that verbs change according to subject and no other parts of speech has this kind of behavior. Second very important quality that verb has is it change depending on time of speech. Now what do I mean by that? It means whether we are talking about the past event, present event or future event. Let me give you an example to make this concept clear. Mary comes here regularly. Here comes is the verb and we are talking about the present event. That means the process of her coming is still continuous. Now see the past event. Mary came here yesterday. Here came is the verb and we are talking about a past event that she came yesterday. Now let's look at the future event. Mary will come tomorrow. Here will and come are the verb and we are talking of the future event. As you can see, for different time the same verb changed. Comes in the present, became, came in the past and will come in the future. These are the different form of verbs. We will discuss about them now. Verbs are mainly divided into three forms: base form, past form and past participle form. Let's take an example of verb sing. The base form of sing is sing itself. The past form of sing is sang and the past participle form of sing is sung. Apart from these three main forms, there are two other forms. SES forms. It is used when the subject is third person and in singular form. Base form plus SES forms this kind of verbs. Example, sing becomes sings here. Note the word S at the end. ING form. It is used when the work is continuing while we are talking about it. Base form plus ing gives this form. Example, sing becomes singing. Now pause the video and check out all 5 forms for some verbs in the table. Please resume the video only when you read all these forms. Now let's look into one sentence example to make this concept concrete. Please look into the table. Base form for the word cook is cook, and the example of it is I cook food regularly. Past form of cook is cooked, and the example is I cooked food yesterday. Past participle form of cook is cooked, and example of it is I have cooked food. SES form of cook is cooks, and the example of it is he cooks food. ING form for cook is cooking, and the example of it is I am cooking food. We will see more examples of them when we will learn about tenses. That's all in this video. Let's quickly revise what we have discussed about forms of verb. There are mainly 3 forms of verb: base form, past form, and past participle form. And 2 other forms of verb: SES forms used for third person in singular form, and ING form used when the work is still continuous while we are talking.
So what is a transitive verb? Transitive verb is action that have a direct object to receive that action. So it's an action verb with a direct object. Let's look into a sentence example to make things clear. The man loves his children. Love here is the action performed by the man, which is a subject in this case, and it has a receiver which is children. As the man is the subject who is doing the action of love and it has a direct object, children, so it's a transitive verb. Let's look into some more sentence example having transitive verb. The doctor cured him. Here, cured is the action and him is the direct object. So it's a transitive verb. Let's look into next example. She crossed the street. Here, crossed is the action and street is the direct object. So it's a transitive verb. Let's look into one more example to make things even clear. Rohan kicked the ball. Here, kicked is the action performed by Rohan and ball is the direct object on which the action is performed. So it's a transitive verb. Now that we are cleared about transitive verb, let's look into intransitive verb. So what is an intransitive verb? Intransitive verb is action that doesn't have a direct object to receive that action. So it's an action verb without a direct object. Let's look into a sentence example to make things clear. Snow fell yesterday. Here, snow is the subject and fell is the action. But we cannot say the snow fell on whom. In other words, there is no direct object to receive the action. So, it's an intransitive verb. Let's look into some more sentence examples having intransitive verbs. We failed. Here, failed is intransitive verb as there is no direct object linked with it. Let's look into next example. She is slipping. Here, Sleeping is intransitive verb as there is no direct object linked with she. Let's look into one more example of intransitive verb to make things even clear. They work hard. Here also, work is intransitive verb as there is no direct object after the verb work. So I think you are now clear about intransitive verb. That's all about transitive and intransitive verb. Let's quickly revise what we have learned in this video. Firstly, we discussed what is the subject, object and verb with the help of an example. Then we discussed what is transitive verb. It is an action verb with a direct object. Finally, we discussed what is intransitive verb. It is an action verb without any direct object.
A finite verb is a verb that has a finite or limited agreement with the subject. What does it mean? It limits its usage as per subject's parameter. There are three defined parameters on which this limitation is fixed. First is tense, that is, the subject is performing action in past, present or future tense. Second, person, that is, the subject is first person, second person or third person. And third is the number, that is, the subject is singular or plural. So, a finite verb will change as per the tense of the sentence, as per the person and as per the number of subject. Now let's understand each of these parameters with the help of an example. Examples of verb that change as per tense, that is, whether the sentence is a present tense, past tense or future tense. I play cricket every day. This sentence is in present tense. Here the verb is play. Let's look into another sentence. I played cricket yesterday. This sentence is in past tense. Here the verb is played. You can see here that the verb play changed to played as per the tense. So both play and played are finite verbs. Now that you are clear how finite verb change as per tense, let's look into the example of verb that change as per person. That is, it change as per the subject is in first, second or third person. I run a mile daily. The subject I is in first person. Here the verb is run. Now let's look into another sentence. He runs a mile daily. Here the subject he is in third person and the verb is runs. You can see here that the verb run changed to runs as per the person. So both run and runs are finite verb. Now that you are clear how finite verb change as per person, let's look into the example of verb that change as per number. That is, the subject is singular or plural. Apple is of red color. The subject apple is singular. Here the verb is. Now let's look into another sentence. Apples are of red color. The subject apples is in plural form. Here the verb is are. You can see here that the verb is changed to are as the subject changed from singular to plural. Now we are clear that the finite verb change as per tense, person and number. Let's now look into non-finite verbs. So what is a non-finite verb? Non-finite verbs don't have any agreement with the subject. That is, they are not limited as per the change in the subject. It doesn't change as per tense or as per person or as per number. They doesn't change as per the tense or as per the person or as per the number of subject in the sentence. And they don't perform any action in the sentence. First, let's understand it with an example. Then we will understand their role in the sentence. I found his office at a walking distance. Here the subject is in singular form and the sentence is in past form. There are two verbs here, found and walking. Let's look into another example. Akash will find his office
at a walking distance. Here the subject is singular and the sentence is in future form. Here also there are two verbs, find and walking. Now you can see that one verb found changed to find, but the other verb walking didn't change in both the cases and doesn't function as a main verb in the sentence. So it's a non-finite verb. Now that we are clear what are non-finite verbs, let's understand their usage. Non-finite verbs functions as noun, adjective or adverb in the sentence. They do not function as verb in the sentence that we just understood. Now let's understand their functionality as an adjective with an example. The sleeping cat is brown. Here, sleeping functions as adjective in the sentence as it is describing cat. Now let's understand how they function as noun with an example. Running is a good habit. Here, running functions as noun in the sentence. Now let's understand how they function as an adverb with an example. Alia went to UK to study. Here, study functions as adverb in the sentence. Non-finite verbs are further divided into three types: gerund, infinitives and participles. We will discuss about them in our next video. That's all for now. Let's quickly revise what we have learned in this lesson. We understood what is finite verb. It is a verb that has an agreement with subject. It changes as per the tense, person and number of subject. Then we understood what is non-finite verb. It is a verb that has no agreement with the subject. It doesn't change as per the tense, person and number. Then we understood the usage of non-finite verb in the sentence. They are used as adjective, noun and adverb in the sentence. Finally, we showed the division of non-finite verbs. They are divided into three parts: participles, gerunds and infinitives. So that's all in this lesson.